Today on Washington TV. U.S. President Barack Obama, during his visit to Cairo, Egypt, addresses the Muslim world. Iran tells Obama sweet words, not enough for the Muslim world. Sarkozys meeting with Mottaki. The Ahmadinejad-Mousavi debate. And Rafsanjani demands opportunity to respond to Ahmadinejad's charges. These stories and more at televisionwashington.com.
Today in Washington. U.S. President Barack Obama today called for a new beginning between the United States and the Muslim world, and warned that violent extremists had exploited tensions between the two sides. Obama's much-anticipated speech from Cairo University was intended to restore America's image among many of the more than 1 billion Muslims around the world.
That America and Islam are not exclusive and need not be in competition. Instead, they overlap and share common principles. Principles of justice and progress, tolerance, and the dignity of all human beings.
Obama warned that the extremists had bred more fear and mistrust between the West and the Islamic world, particularly following the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks on the United States. While acknowledging that change cannot happen overnight and that one speech cannot erase years of mistrust, Obama called on both sides to move forward by seeking common ground, listening to each other, and learning from one another. The president told the audience that both sides have a number of issues that they must confront together: violent extremism, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the spread of nuclear weapons, democracy, religious freedom, and women's rights. President Obama said that his administration was committed to mending ties with Iran, but warned that the dispute over the latter's nuclear program had reached a decisive point. He acknowledged that it would be hard to overcome decades of mistrust, pointing to America's role in the 1953 coup, which overthrew the democratically elected Prime Minister of Iran, and the taking of hostages at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. However, he said that Washington was prepared to move forward in relations with Tehran, without preconditions and on the basis of mutual respect. Obama said,
"But it is clear to all concerned that when it comes to nuclear weapons, we have reached a decisive point."
The president said that resolving the long-standing nuclear row was in the world's interest, because it was about preventing a nuclear arms race in the region that could lead the world down a hugely dangerous path. In an apparent reference to Iran's President Ahmadinejad, Obama said that denying the fact that 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust was baseless, ignorant, and hateful. Today's top stories. Iran's leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei today told U.S. President Barack Obama that sweet and attractive words would not improve America's image in the Muslim world. Khamenei was speaking at a gathering to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the demise of the founder of the Islamic Republic, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Speaking shortly before Obama's address to the Muslim world from Cairo, Khomeini said, quote, "These sweet and attractive words for the Islamic nation, which has a deep hatred for America, will not cause change." He added, "The region's hatred of America will not go away with slogans alone, but requires action." Khamenei also accused the United States of lying about Iran's nuclear program, which the West suspects is a cover for ambitions to develop nuclear arms. He asserted that the Islamic Republic only wanted nuclear energy for industrial and peaceful purposes, and that the West had stood against Iran's natural and legitimate right. The Iranian leader also accused the United States of occupying Iraq and Afghanistan under the pretext of fighting terrorism. In another part of his speech, Khamenei said that the enemies of the nation sometimes call Iran's elections appointments, and say that rivalry among candidates is a game controlled from inside the government, but all these efforts is only to deliver a blow to Iran's religious democracy and to prevent the people from strongly participating in the election. Khamenei also said that he has nothing against debates, discussions, and criticisms, but asked the candidates to try and remain within the religiously appropriate frameworks during debates, adding, "People are awake, they understand, they know." France's President Nicolas Sarkozy yesterday warned Iran that it faced further international isolation if Tehran fails to reach a settlement with world powers on its nuclear program. Sarkozy made the remarks after an hour-long meeting in Paris with Iran's Foreign Minister Manouchehr Mottaki. Sarkozy asked Tehran to respect United Nations Security Council resolutions on its nuclear program and negotiate with world powers or risk even large international isolation in all areas. He also condemned Iran's President Ahmadinejad for denying the Holocaust. Ahmadinejad yesterday described the Holocaust as a great historical deception. Sarkozy described Ahmadinejad's remarks as inadmissible and profoundly shocking.
Today in election news. In what turned out to be a heated contest, the second round of televised election debates ahead of next weekend's presidential election in Iran was held last night at 1802 GMT between Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the principalist incumbent president of Iran, and his reformist challenger, former Prime Minister Mir Hossein Mousavi. Ahmadinejad started by complaining about his rival's charges against him during the presidential campaign, which he termed not only very unfair and cruel, but also great lies and unprecedented vilifications of his government. For the first time, this explicitly, he accused two former presidents, Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani and Mohammad Khatami, of delivering blows and trying actively being down his government. He also accused Ali Akbar Nater Nouri, the special investigator of the Office of Iran's Supreme Leader, and Gholam Hossein Karbaschi, former mayor of Tehran, and the two sons of Hashemi Rafsanjani, of corruption. He specifically referred to the role of one of Hashemi Rafsanjani's sons in acquiring a contract with the Norwegian Statoil, which was later revealed to have involved large amounts of bribes. Ahmadinejad also talked about Mohsen Safai Farahani, the executive manager of the pro-reform Islamic Participation Front, who was accused of corruption during his time as the head of Iran's Soccer Federation. Ahmadinejad also accused Zahra Ranavard, an author and academic who is the wife of Mir Hossein Mousavi, of faking her doctorate degree. Mousavi waited for his turn and then fired back by listing a litany of charges against Ahmadinejad's management style, including dodging the law, being under epic delusions, fantasizing, adventurism, being superstitious, showboating, egocentrism, fanaticism, extravagance, and wrong-headedness, which he said had moved them to stand for election, as he felt they endangered the Islamic Republic's security. He then refused to comment about the charges that Ahmadinejad had leveled against some individuals, which Mousavi said were not present to defend themselves, but added that he was standing for the presidency partly because he objected to this kind of spirit. He said, "This is the spirit which I seek to change." Mousavi went on to say that because of Ahmadinejad, in the past 4 years, Iran has been isolated from the international community and does not even have one friend in the region. He also said that at a time when Israel was facing problems in the international community because of its military operations in Gaza, Ahmadinejad's repeated Holocaust denial remarks at the Durban II conference in Geneva managed to rally the international community behind Israel, and protest against Iran's president, who is the manifestation of the nation, brought shame on the people of Iran. He rejected the portrayal of this event as an epic by Iran's official media. He also said claims which smacked of megalomania, such as wanting to manage the world, by Ahmadinejad's government had undermined the grandeur and dignity of the Iranian people. Ahmadinejad replied by saying he did not play in accordance to the rules set forth by world powers, and that he had managed to push the US and the Europeans to adopt defensive stances. He also said that his government had, more than any other, ensured Iran's independence, adding that the US has always tried to overthrow the Islamic Republic in the past 27 years, and that it is only during his tenure that the US has officially said it is not seeking regime change. Following last night's debate between Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and Mir Hossein Mousavi, in which Ahmadinejad attacked Iran's former president Ayatollah Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani and his children, the office of Hashemi Rafsanjani today sent a letter to Ezatollah Zarqami, the head of Iran's state-owned radio and television organization, and asked for airtime in order to reply to Ahmadinejad's accusations. According to Tabnak website, the letter states in part that because of the persistent lies and accusations directed against the person of Ayatollah Hashemi Rafsanjani and his children by Mr. Ahmadinejad, instilling doubts in the climate of the presidential election, without there being an opportunity to defend and respond to them, Hashemi called for airtime in order to respond. The letter further asked for this airtime to be arranged as soon as possible. These stories and more at televisionwashington.com.